when you got caught, you put any work in on them? You got to turn in some of the mother turns you in?
I have worn a wire on somebody before. There's a whole story behind that. When I got caught with all that dope, of course, the Columbus PD, they saw all that in one bag. I knew who my dealer was and I knew what he was capable of. As I'm working there, this place was known to be like a drug place. Okay. The local police actually put an undercover cop in this place who I ultimately became friends with and started selling this guy. And the way for me to get out of that is the guy that I was getting all this weed from, they wanted that. So they wanted me to wear a wire on him, which I agreed to do. The local police here found out that the guy that I was getting the weed from, his father-in-law was actually one of the biggest drug dealers in this county. So then I had to start build up a reputation with this guy, be able to come in one night and wear a wire on him, which I ultimately did. And then they sent the task force out, kicked this guy's door in. Crazy, bro.
That reminds me of that training day, that part where the guy was in the house,
yes,
but he had all the money under the floorboards.
Yep.
Hey, this is Zach. Thank you for listening to my channel. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and the like button and leave me a comment because I'm hitting you back. Today, I'm doing an interview with a unique individual that I'm going to tell you something. Just knowing this guy, I become a better person. You know what I'm saying? This is the kind of person that you want as a friend. He has some crazy stories because of his outlook on every situation. I think I bring him in. This is my little brother, Jax. What's up, Jax?
What's up, guys? How you doing, man?
Hey, we're doing good, bro. We're doing good. And listen, we need to talk about all of the BS we went through.
To get here,
interview in place, right? Right. And it's been my fault. I'm gonna take the blame. People, I'm taking the blame for this. I've been irresponsible putting this man off, knowing this is probably the best interview I'm probably ever gonna do on my channel. Probably the best interview thus far, the best guy. And I've been slipping and sliding. But finally, it is here. It is happening, Jax. It's happening, baby.
I know. Well, listen, man, you had equipment failures and both of us got sick and it's just been fucking madness. You know what I mean?
Pre-COVID, after COVID, middle COVID, long COVID. We had all that COVID.
Bro.
We had it all. But we're here now. We're here now, Jax. What's up, baby?
What's up, man? It's good to be back. It's good to see you in Maddie's studio. I mean, it's, I love you guys, man. It's awesome.
Hanging out with the boss man. The boss man.
For real.
So what kind of day have you had today, Jax? How's life been today?
Listen, man, I talked about it a little bit on Maddie's channel, but where I'm from, this place is not like anywhere else that you've ever been. I could promise you, if you ever came here to visit. I really don't know the best way to fucking describe it, but this place is basically frozen in time, this small town where I live. Okay.
It's kind of backwoods.
It is, but at the same time, man, it literally has not changed since 1999 when I graduated high school. It looks the same.
That's your hometown?
Yes, my hometown. And, I don't belong here. And that's the next step in my life, is trying to get out of here, which I should have done a long time ago because I never fit in here, bro. I got bleach fucking blonde hair and I'm crazy as fuck. This is country as it gets. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the people here, bro, are some of the just dumbest, inbred, fucking just unbelievable.
Please tell my fans where you are. What city are you in?
Okay, so I'm in Jackson County, Ohio. So if you want to Google Earth that shit, it's a fucking fly speck on the map, dude. I mean, it's just... And, we're only known for a couple things here. So as far as famous people go, there is a famous baseball player that's from here. His name's Jeff Montgomery. He played for the Cincinnati Reds. He was a relief pitcher. He also played for, I think, the Kansas City Royals. So he's from here. And then the only other thing we're really known for here is a beverage. So there's I don't know if you call it pop or soda. But there's a
soda pop. I call it both.
Soda pop, yeah. There's a beverage company here called Gem Bottling, like GEM, like a stone, like a gem, like a ring.
Gem.
Okay. Yeah.
Never heard of that though.
And they make a drink called Ski. It's spelled SKI, and it's kind of a really big. Yeah, it's kind of a really big deal. I think you can get it on Amazon, but they only ship it about as far as Tennessee. So if you go farther than like Tennessee, people have never heard of it down south, like where you're at. Okay.
What type of drink is it though?
And so it's like a combination of, it's bright green, and it's like a combo of like Mountain Dew, Mellow Yellow, and Squirt all combined into one drink. And it's got about 300 milligrams of caffeine per fucking bottle.
Is it an energy drink? Is it an
No,
drink?
it's just a soda pop, and it's like what this town is known for. I grew up like a block and a half from where the actual bottling company was, where they made it. And
Right.
I think since then they've sold the company, and I think it actually gets produced and bottled somewhere else. But that's kind of the only things that this town where I'm from is known for. But today, dude, Jesus Christ. So I went to town before I knew we were going to do our interview. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I went to town to see a friend of mine, and I'm a good guy. So like she was at work, and called her up, and I was like, "Hey, do you want me to grab you anything before I come and see you at work?" She's like, "Yeah, I'd like to have a coffee." I'm like, "Okay." I said, "Where do you want it from?" She's like, "Well, go to Sonic and get me an iced coffee." So I'm like, "Okay, cool, man."
Sonic,
So
the burger joint.
yeah, the drive-through, right? You know, where they
Really?
come
I
out
didn't
on
even.
roller skates and shit. Sonic, yeah.
Sonic is not known for coffee, right?
No, but they have iced coffee there. Yeah,
Oh,
they
okay.
have
Well,
that.
all right. Let's go.
Yeah, that green. I think it's they sell that Green Mountain brand coffee, but they have like
Yes, that's
yeah
right.
they
That's right.
yeah
They do. You're right.
yeah. So I get in the drive-through, right, and when I pull into the drive-through, like there's a line of like fucking 8 people in front of me. Okay. So there's no sense in me. There's no sense in me pulling right up to the drive-through speaker, because why would I go ahead and order when there's all these people in front of me? It's not going to make things any quicker, right?
Right. Right.
So I'm sitting back from the drive-through speaker just a little bit, just kind of chilling, waiting, whatever. This fucking idiot pulls up behind me in a like beat to shit gray Jeep Patriot. Okay. And he pulls up behind me, and I can see him in the fucking rearview mirror. And I'm looking at him, and all of a sudden, and I see he's got a girl with him, about some 300-pound, toothless fucking just whatever. And
My
I can,
favorites. My favorites.
yeah, oh yeah. And I can see this bitch laying back in the seat, and she's doing this shit with her hands, like she's in a fucking rave or something.
Like a
I don't know.
dying cockroach or something.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. All of a sudden, I see the dude dropping into drive, and he just right around me and pulls right in front of me in the drive-through and pulls right up to the drive-through speaker, like I'm not even fucking sitting there.
Oh hell!
So I roll down.
That's a
Oh,
hell no.
that's an absolute fucking hell no. So, bro, I rolled down the fucking window and I said, "Bro, fucking really?" And he turns around and looks at me, and he starts yapping and fucking saying, I can't really understand what he's saying. He's throwing his fucking hands all over the place. And I thought, dude, I'm not going to do it. I knew I had to do an interview with you, and I was like, if I fucking do it, I'm going to get arrested. And I was like, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
So
right.
I just kind of fucking let it go. But those are the kind of people that this fucking town is full of. So it gets a little better though. So, the line starts to move a little bit, and the guy, he gets to, he orders whatever. He pulls up. I pull up to the drive-through speaker, and they know me there because this is a small town, right? So I
Right.
go to
Right.
this Sonic all the time. I tell the girl on the speaker, I'm like, "See this motherfucker in front of me?" She goes, and she's talking to me on the speaker.
Right.
And she goes, "Yeah." I said, "Spit in this motherfucker's food."
And that's my order. That's what you tell
Yeah.
her. Like I don't want coffee. My
Yeah.
order is spit in this motherfucker in front of me's food.
So I tell this girl, I said, "This motherfucker just pulled in front of me." I said, "Did you see this guy?" And she goes, "No, I didn't see it." I was like, "Spit in this motherfucker's food." And she started laughing on the drive-through speaker and fucking, and then so she felt so bad that this guy did it. She gave me the coffee for free.
Oh, well, hey.
So yeah.
Not bad. Not bad. I
Not
mean, you
bad.
came out ahead of that.
Yeah, but I mean, that is when I tell you, man, this place is its own special kind of fucked up. Like it just really is, bro.
Are
I
you
don't
sure
know
it's not
how.
just a few random individuals?
No, I can say this specifically because I've been here my whole life and I've seen it. This fucking place I don't know how to describe it. It's so different than anywhere else. everything that you would think about small town America being like, because this place is it has its own set of rules and its own way of doing things.
Right.
You know
The
what I mean?
Midwest. Yeah, the old Midwest, huh?
Yeah,
Small
like
town Midwest.
this place is all about, exactly where I'm at. It's all about what your last name is, how much money your family has,
Mhm.
absolutely what color you are. There are no black people here, bro.
What?
None.
Not
In
even
my
one. There's not
in
one little guy
Oh
that's
yeah,
scared.
when I say none, yes, there's one. In my entire graduating high school class, there was one African American kid. One.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. So this is white as far as the eye can see here. All right. And it's everything that you think it is and worse here. And it's just fucking terrible, man. So yeah, that's my next step, is trying to, on my journey of bettering my life, it's time for me to get out of here, because there's nothing here. There's no art, there's no music, there's no culture, there's no nothing. This is just, it's a stop on the middle of the nowhere. There's
Well,
just nothing here.
where do you drive to catch art, music, and culture? How far do you
So
have to go?
Columbus, so the biggest
Yeah,
city,
that's
which would
true.
be Columbus, Ohio. So that
There's a lot of art, music, and culture in Columbus, boy.
I'm about an hour and a half south of Columbus. So, if you want to go up there and catch an Ohio State Buckeyes game, or
Yes, I
go,
do. Yes, I
whatever the fuck,
do.
yeah, we're going to do that, bro. You and me, I'm telling you. But
Yes, I do.
it's terrible, man. And doing all the things that I did when I was running wild and getting in trouble and doing all that kind of shit, that you're talking almost 20 years ago at this point, right? And even though it's been that long, all the cops around here, all these people still think I'm that same person.
Right.
So once you get that target on your back, it never goes away here. So that, you know what I'm saying? So no matter how many good things I've done to improve my life, like, it doesn't matter. They look at me, and there's certain stores and like businesses here, when I walk into them, I still get that look from the person behind the counter, like,
What
oh, here comes this motherfucker. You know
what
what I mean?
one of those looks like?
Yeah. You know the
I
look.
know. Yes, I've had that look. I've
You
gotten it
know the
before,
look.
and I've given
Yeah.
it out. I've given it out a couple of times. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? I got a daughter, so some guy
Yeah.
shows up.
Yeah. So this place is crazy, man. I'm telling you, bro. It's just, it would trip you out. The only thing that this place is good for is that if you go off into life and you make, let's say, a decent amount of money, and you want to come to a place where you can buy a big piece of land for cheap and build a house and like retire,
Right.
that's the only thing this place is good for, bro.
Other
Other
than that,
than
yeah,
no.
that's not for all life. That's just for the end of life, for that
Yeah.
peace and quiet. I got you.
Other than that, I mean, like, this shit, you dead it. It's fucking horrible. I hate this fucking town. These people are fucking morons, Brad. Like, you legit have to dumb yourself down to talk to 90% of the people here, because
Right.
they're just methed or cracked or whatever the fuck out of their head. Drugs are horrible here, bro.
Man.
So it's terrible, man. It is.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, I wanted to ask you to on the story tip, because you had mentioned a story to me about a young lady that you brought in,
Oh
right,
yeah.
from out of town. You were getting on my case
Yeah.
but that
Yeah.
story was at the end of the interview with Matt.
Yes.
Can I get that at the beginning of this interview with you right
Sure.
now? All right.
Yeah, man.
Please
Yeah.
tell me that story. Please.
Uh,
Tell my viewers that story. You guys are gonna love this. You
the
guys are gonna love it.
Mexican girlfriend story. Yeah.
The Mexican.
That
Start
yeah.
from the beginning. Like, where did you meet the Mexican girlfriend?
Okay. So let me rewind back a little bit. Let me get in the mind frame and remember and all that. So during my journey of, getting sober, all this kind of stuff, there was a point where I had a girlfriend named Tina, and her and I were living together in a place not real far from where I'm living now. And we had been together about 8 years, and then that finally kind of came to an end. And she ended up leaving me, which, all things considered, I kind of deserved it. But the way that this girl left me was extremely fucked up.
Hey, no matter how they leave you, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Even when we are fucking up, and you're like, hey, what you still can't leave me just because I'm screwed up. Don't mean you leave. What you thinking about?
Well, we can get into that story later, but long story short, with her, I basically came home to an empty house one day when she
Ooh,
just decided to leave and take every fucking thing with her, including
wow.
half of my shit. So
You didn't know this when you left? When you left out for work, you didn't feel that vibe?
no, she had been
Blindsided.
planning this shit. She had been planning this shit behind my back for months. I ended up finding all this out later. And kind of
Ouch.
devised this whole plan, waited for me to leave, and then fucking packed up the house and fucking left.
Ouch.
And
Ouch.
treated me the whole time like nothing was wrong. Treated me like everything was cool. Her and I were cool. And then just dropped it on me like a fucking a bomb, dude. You know.
Wow.
So
All right,
after
you came home.
yeah, so after this girl left, there was a period for a while, man. Actually, about 3 years where I had no car. I had no. This girl took everything. We had one car between us. This girl that I was with, and the car was in both of our names. So
Right.
when she left, she took the car. She took everything. Right.
Right.
So I'm basically stuck at this point. I'm at the house. I got no car, whatever. And so all I've got available to me is basically the internet and my phone. And I'm a talker. I like talking on the phone and shit. So one day a buddy of mine comes by and he has a 50-inch Sanyo television. It's not a smart TV. This is back in like 2008, man, when smart TVs were still pretty expensive at that time. They weren't like $400 like they are now. You know what I mean?
Oh, they were like $4,000 back then.
Yeah. And so
give me a dumb TV for four. I got you. Go ahead.
So this guy had a 50-inch regular, just flat screen TV, and I had a smaller, like 36-inch Vizio smart TV. And he's like, I'll trade you this 50-inch TV for your smaller smart TV. And I had cable TV at the time. I didn't use the smart TV. So I was like, cool, I want a bigger television. So I traded my friend. Well, he had this TV mounted on the fucking wall, right? And so when he traded it to me, he didn't give me the base with the TV, like to be able to set it down on a stand. You know what I'm saying? And this place I was living, I was renting it. So like, I didn't want to drill holes in the wall. I didn't want to mount this TV on the wall. I didn't own this place,
Right.
So I needed to get a base for this television. So I get online and I find the phone number for Sanyo TV, right? And I call the 1-800 number. So here's the first thing. Did you know Sanyo TV is in Tijuana, Mexico?
No, I didn't.
Because it is.
Oh,
that's where they make those.
Did not know. Where the hell is Sanyo, a Mexican word? All right, no problem.
Yes. So
Sancho,
that is where
maybe,
that's where they make Sanyo televisions, and that's where the call center is. So I call the 1-800 number and get transferred to the right department, and this girl picks up the phone, and immediately she's got like the thickest, Latino accent, you know what I mean? And she says, my name is Meredith. I'm like, bullshit, your name's Meredith. You know what I mean? So I start talking to this girl and we start, I start telling her I need a base. I give her the model number for the TV, blah, blah, blah. And I'm on the phone with her for like 30 minutes, right? Well,
talking business, talking shop.
Yeah. And then just bullshitting back and forth. And this girl's like, you know what? I'm going to send you the base for this TV for free. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay. All right. And so, get off the phone with her. Like a week later, there's still no base to my TV at the house. Like it hasn't came yet, right? So I called Sanyo Television back, and I come to find out this girl basically ran this whole entire department. So every time you would call this department, the same girl would answer the phone. Okay. So
easily track it down.
Yeah. So she picks up the phone and I'm talking to her, and I shit you not, as we're on the phone, there's a knock at my door. And it's the UPS man with the fucking TV base. While I'm on the phone. Yeah. While I'm
with
on the phone.
Her.
Yep.
With her. All right. Okay.
All right. So we're talking and I'm like, oh my God, the base just showed up. She's like, oh, I'm so glad, all this stuff, whatever. So after that, from time to time, I would call fucking Sanyo just to talk to this chick. Because we got along that good on the phone. And like she spoke perfect English.
All right, so you would call
Yeah,
Just to talk to,
because I
so
was
did you
bored.
make up reasons like you were calling? Like,
No,
I'm
like
missing a screw.
no, I would just call and
You say,
fucking
hey, how
like,
you doing?
yeah, and just talk to her. So
Wow.
that went
Ballsy.
on. Yeah, oh yeah, dude.
Ballsy.
I don't give a fuck,
I
bro.
see
Like,
this.
yeah,
I
yeah.
see this.
So this went on for about a month. And then, because she had sent me the TV base and stuff, she obviously had my email address. So after about a month, we were talking one day and I was like, hey, you should email me and like we should, talk outside of work or whatever. So she emails me. She sends me a photo of her and then I email her back, send her a photo of me. And so now we know what each other looks like.
Right.
And
Yes,
then
sir.
yep. Yeah. And then she sends me her phone number. So now instead of calling Sanyo, I'm calling direct to fucking Tijuana, Mexico to her, international calling to her fucking phone.
Whoop,
Okay.
whoop.
Yep. So then that goes on for, a month or so. At the time, I had an iPad just like I have now. This girl, come to find out her real name was not Meredith, as I assumed. Her name was Luli. Her real name was something really hard to pronounce. It was like Luedra or something like that. But they
Right.
basically she basically told me that everybody calls her Luli. So
Lulu.
that's
Okay.
so that's what I called her. So um so we're talking back and forth. I had an iPad and we decided that we wanted to video chat so we could see each other live and in color. You know what I'm saying?
There
So
you go.
she
Talk to
yeah,
me, bro.
yeah. So she goes and borrows an iPad from her mom and we link up and we start video chatting, right? And so now we're doing that for like the next couple months. So now altogether, I've been talking to this girl for like 5 months, something like that. And we
Mm.
start talking about actually meeting each other in person.
Oof.
And yeah, oh yeah. So they celebrate the same holidays in Mexico that we celebrate here, like Labor Day, Memorial Day, all that kind of shit, right?
Right.
So there was a holiday coming up. I can't remember if it was Labor Day or like Memorial Day, what it was, but basically, I had talked with her and we had decided that she was going to fly here to meet me in person, and I was going to pay for the plane ticket, and she was going to basically pay for the rental car which whatever.
Y'all were
So
gonna
we
split it.
yeah, basically split it. So we kind of get all this worked out and shit. I get it while we're video chatting. I'm on the phone one day live while we're video chatting, and I call Delta Airlines, and she gives me her credit card, over the thing. And I basically was going to. I didn't have a credit card, so she was going to book the plane ticket with her credit card, and I was going to reimburse her when she got here to see me. Basically, is
Oh,
what it
okay.
was.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
because
So let me can I intervene for just 1 second?
sure,
All
yeah,
right. So the discussion of her coming, right?
yeah.
Is it a precondition that there was going to be some freaky deaky, some
Well, yeah.
like
So to get
was
into,
it implied? Was it straight out
yeah.
like as soon as you
So
walk in, drop your pants? I mean, how did
yeah.
this go?
Okay. So we had basically, like I said, been talking for months, right?
Oh
So
yeah,
we
y'all
had
have seen
talked.
each other. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
and
Any
we'd
dick
seen
pics or anything like that? I mean,
no, actually, now here's the thing. So we'd seen each other live and in color, video chat, and all that kind of stuff. But we had
right.
talked about everything, about life, about love, about all this kind of shit,
Lust,
right?
maybe. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And there was even a conversation at one point about me actually moving to Mexico, and she was going to allow me to live with her and basically just pay rent and just, so I could get out of the situation I was in. Because you got to remember, yeah,
All
you
right.
got you got to remember. At this time I was stuck at home with no car, no nothing. So like I basically had nothing going on,
There
you
you
know?
go. But
Right.
her, she was the only
So
thing you had going on.
pretty much, yeah,
All
man,
right.
pretty much. So we had talked about everything, and yes, we had talked about sex, we talked about all kinds of shit. So it was pretty much, she had seen me, I'd seen her, she knew what I looked like. It was pretty much implied that we were going to hook up when that was one of the reasons she was going to fly here to stay with me for the weekend. Okay.
She wanted that thing. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, but we never did like phone sex. We never did, like naked pics, anything like that. We never did anything like that. She was
You
a
just
different type of chick. She
She
was a
was
little
classy. She
younger.
was kind of classy.
Yeah, she was a little bit younger than me, not by a whole lot. I think at the time 2000. I was 28, maybe, or 29 at the time. And I think she was something like 24, 25, something like that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
My man.
So we get everything set up, right? And now remember, I don't have a car. So I have to be able to get to the airport to meet this girl.
Well,
right?
she was renting a car, so
yeah, once she got here, she was going to rent a car.
oh, okay.
But I still had to get to the airport to meet her to make sure she actually showed up. She didn't know how to get to my house.
Oh, this is pre-GTS days or just
Yeah, dude, this is 2007 or 8, bro.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. I'm waiting.
I mean,
Talk to me. Talk to me.
I mean,
now.
they had GPS. Everybody was using those fucking Garmins back then or whatever it was. You know what I mean?
Loved them. They were not only
Yeah.
were they good directions, but they were weapons. But go ahead.
Oh,
You can hit somebody
yeah.
with them. But go ahead.
So
go ahead.
my mom gets involved with the whole fucking thing. And like,
What did your mom think? What did your mom
oh,
think?
she thought I was crazy, bro. Of course she did. But my mom is used to me doing, whatever type of shit. So she wasn't really that surprised, I guess, but she thought I was nuts. So, and not only that, but my mom was going to give me a ride to the airport and wait to make sure this girl actually flew here and showed up. So my mom didn't just leave me at the airport and then I'd be stuck there. You know what I'm saying?
Mama, thank you, mama.
Yeah, thank you, mama, for real.
Go ahead.
So the day comes, I get all dressed up and shit. My mom comes and picks me up. We go up to Columbus to the international fucking airport. And I go through security and all this shit. And I had talked to this girl the night before and she said, yes, I'm coming, whatever. Whatever. So I go through the fucking terminal, go all the way down to where she's going to be. And I thought that I had got there before, everybody had gotten off the plane. So I'm standing there and I'm watching people pour out of the fucking, the terminal. And she's nowhere to be found. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm looking and like, I'd never seen this girl in person, right? Only on video chat. So I pick up my cell phone and I call her phone. She picks it up immediately. She's like, I already got off the plane. I'm like, where the fuck are you? She's like, I'm at Enterprise Rental Car. How I missed her getting off that plane, I have no idea. I mean, she was only about 5 foot tall.
Right.
So she may have walked in a crowd of people and maybe I missed her. I don't know. But like, I fucking couldn't find her when she got off the plane. So she says I'm an Enterprise Rental Car. So I hightail it all the way back through the fucking airport.
Wow.
Go down.
Did she know you were going to be there waiting?
Oh, absolutely. She knew. She didn't wait on me at all. She just got off the plane and went right down to fucking Enterprise Rental Car. So I go all the way back down to Enterprise Rental Car, turn the fucking corner. It's all, it's out. The outside of Enterprise is all encased in glass. I turn the corner. There she is standing at the fucking thing. She sees me. I see her. I run inside. We fucking hug each other. She was supposed to stay with me for the weekend. All she brought with her was a backpack. That was it. Okay.
Right.
So she's at the counter getting everything hooked up with the rental car. We get that figured out. So we go outside into the parking garage and we're standing there at the little Enterprise Rental Car, thing. And we're waiting on the guy to bring the car up. Okay. Now, keep in mind, this has been months of like buildup of me and her talking, seeing each other on camera, all this kind of shit. So she smoked just like I smoke.
Right.
So we're standing there and both of us are smoking a cigarette and I lean in to kiss her and she pushes me back and she goes, whoa, wait a minute. And I thought, well, that's kind of weird. Like, I thought, well, she's been on a plane all night. Maybe she didn't brush her teeth. Maybe she's tired, whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Right.
Okay. So I just kind of let that go. So we get in the car, and she says she's hungry. She wants to get something to eat. So we leave the airport. My mom sees, at this point that everything's cool, whatever. So my mom takes off and goes and does her own thing.
Right. Oh, so mom should have left when you went to Enterprise. I mean, you didn't call mom and say everything's cool. She's here.
No, my mom was out waiting in the car the whole time, like in the parking garage.
Oh,
so once I went down,
mom.
yeah, she waited on me. Yeah, straight up. Mom's cool as fuck, man.
Yes,
my mom's
is.
like legit cool as fuck.
Amen. Go ahead.
Yeah. So my mom takes off. We get in the car and we get out of the airport. And there's a restaurant we have here in Ohio. It's called Bob Evans. I don't know if you've ever heard of Bob Evans.
Of course, I've heard of Bob Evans.
Okay, so
Horrible.
the original. Well, Not all of them. Not all of them.
All right.
The original Bob Evans restaurant, the very first one that ever existed, is in a place called Rio Grande, Ohio. It's about 30 minutes away from me.
Really?
Yes. The original Bob Evans farm, like the farm where everything, the restaurant, it's about 30 minutes away from me in a place called Rio Grande, Ohio. There's a college there as well, Rio Grande College.
We're going to talk about Bob Evans after this story, but go
Yeah.
ahead. You took it to
So
Bob Evans.
we stop at Bob Evans. We get something to eat. You know, we're talking back and forth, whatever. We get something to eat. We get back in the car. And we got about an hour drive to get to my house, right? So we get in the car and we go. So we get to my house finally. We get inside. And I'm showing her the house, show her where the bedroom is, show her where the bathroom is, all this stuff. Let her get settled. I told you she brought nothing but a backpack with her, right? So
Right.
we get to my house. She opens up the backpack. She brought me authentic Mexican tortillas, handmade. You know, which I thought was kind of cool. You know what I'm saying?
Got me hungry, dog.
Now, at the time, also, I left this part out. At some point during her flight from Mexico to here, in either the Columbus airport or one of the airports that she had a layover in, she had stopped in the airport and bought a book. Now that'll become relevant here in a little bit. She bought like a novel, something to read, okay? And it was like one of those vampire Twilight type of fucking novels, okay?
Weapon.
Big, thick boy, yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, so we're at my house and we're talking and like, you know, she's tired. She's been flying all the way here. So I suggested like, hey, why don't we lay down, take a nap, and then we'll get up later and we'll figure out what we're going to do, whatever. So we go back to the bedroom and, you know, we're sitting there on the edge of the bed and I lean in to fucking kiss this girl again. And she stops me again and looks me dead in the face and she says, I'm sorry, I don't feel anything. And I said, whoa.
That's when you got to get that look. You got to get that look.
I said, wait a minute. What do you mean you don't feel anything? You haven't even kissed me yet. She goes, well, I just know myself. I know myself and I don't feel anything. And, you know, we can still hang out if you want to and whatever. You can show me your town, but I just don't feel anything. And even at one point during this conversation, which went on for about 10 minutes, she tells me we can even sleep together if you want to, but I know it won't change my mind. I don't feel anything for you like that. So I'm dumbfounded, right?
I don't even know what to say right now, man.
Okay.
I feel like I'm going to get up and that's crazy.
I'm dumbfounded at this point, bro. All these months of build up, all this fucking shit, and this girl says
did she feel something a few days before she left? I mean,
to this day, man. Well, let me finish, and then we'll, you know, we can talk about my assumptions. But so I'm so fucking upset, I don't know what to do, right? So I said, you know what? I'm not going to take a nap. You go ahead and take a nap. So she lays down in my bed and takes a nap, and the whole time she's asleep, I'm pacing around the fucking house, pissed off. I called my mom, told her I'm all upset on the phone with her. You know, whatever. So the more that I thought about it, the angrier I got. You know, this girl woke up after having her nap and I literally walked back to the bedroom and she's like, okay, you know, what do you want to go out and do? And I was like, you know what? I thought about it while you were asleep. I was like, I don't feel anything either. You need to go. And she just kind of looked at me and she was like, well, it doesn't have to be like that. You know, like I said, you can show me your town. We can hang out. Like we can still do fun stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm kind of over this whole thing. I was like, you can go ahead and get your shit and go. Yeah.
Cha-ching.
Yeah.
My man.
Well, I don't fucking play, dude. Not over for no piece of pussy. Like, I don't think so, bro. No. So
you're like, well, we can still no.
Yeah, no. This shit I was done at this point. I'd had enough of
negotiations.
It, bro.
Yeah, the ball's in my court now. Get the
that
fuck
shit's
out.
deaded, right?
Yes.
So she had spent all of her money. Now at this point, I told you we put the plane ticket on her card. When she got here, I'd given her the money back in cash. So the only cash, to my knowledge, that she had was the cash I'd given her. Right. And because she didn't do any currency exchange for fucking pesos or whatever the fuck.
Right, right.
So, she has this rental car, which is in her name. And so basically, I told her to get her shit and get the fuck out. So she gets her fucking backpack and she leaves. And so I actually cried at one point because I was so fucking upset and so fucking mad and whatever. And after she left, I called my mom again. I'm talking to her. So about 20 minutes go by after this girl leaves the house, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden I hear on the fucking door. So I go to the door and I open the door. This girl's standing there and she said, "I left my book here." She came back for the fucking vampire book that she bought at the airport. A fucking $5 fucking novel that this bitch bought at the fucking airport. She left and then came back for
to
the
get the book.
Yeah.
And she knew where you live. She was able to guide herself back to your house.
Yes. And so I said, okay. I said, you know what? Hang on a minute. I went and got the book. I said, here you fucking go, honey. She didn't say another fucking word to me. She didn't try to come back in the house or make shit right with me. Fucking nothing. I handed her the book. She turned around, got back in the fucking car and left. And I never heard from her again. Never spoke to her again. I don't know if she flew back to Mexico. I don't know what the fuck happened to her. I never heard from her again. After all those months, talking all that time, flew the fucking bitch here, fucking everything, and then nothing, dude. And I threw the bitch straight out of my fucking house and never heard from her again.
The day of.
Yeah, the day of, bro.
Damn.
That's just a tidbit, a small tidbit of the type of shit that goes on in my fucking life. Like, bro.
So all right. So what the hell do you think happened, man, in that situation?
I honestly, now when we had first started talking, she told me that she had been to the States before, but she had never been to Ohio, where I'm from.
Right.
I don't know how much truth is in that. I started to kind of really wonder, like, if she didn't come here for another reason or to maybe link up with somebody else. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you think she was just finessing? I don't know. That's just weird.
Yeah, because she was willing to fly all the way here. She did tell me at one point that she had second thoughts about flying here, that she, like, the night before, even though I talked to her on the phone the night before she got on the plane, she had actually thought about not coming, she told me. And then decided, no, she was going to come anyway, whatever, and she did. And like I said, my mom was witness to all this shit. My mom saw this girl, met this girl at the airport. Like, this shit was crazy, bro.
Yeah,
but I still to this day, and I mean, now I never called Sanyo TV again. Okay. I never called, her department again, whatever. But I don't know what happened to her. And I don't know, if she left my house and went back to Columbus that same day. Oh, well, yeah, I don't know if she slept in the rental car. I have no fucking idea.
And I would say at that point, it really didn't matter. I was just wondering.
No, I didn't give a fuck, dude.
I mean, I'm just wondering, what do you think maybe changed her mindset? You know what I'm saying?
That's the part. That's why I got so upset, because, I understand the type of culture and shit that we live in now and the way things are when it comes to stuff like that. But listen, this was 2008. Things were obviously very different back then than they are in 2023. Okay.
Right.
But this bitch saw what I looked like, saw me live and in color on fucking FaceTime. We talked about everything, talked about sex. She knew what the fucking deal was. Why else would I fly your fucking ass here from fucking Mexico, bitch? Exactly. And then for you to get here and then look me dead in the eye and, like, push me away and not even kiss me, not even fucking nothing, and then just act like we're going to be buddy fucking friends and hang out. You've lost your mind, bitch. You get to fucking kick rocks. You get the fuck out of my house.
And like, in my mind, like, I've like talked, like, I've kind of been on the opposite side of that, but I've kissed a girl and realized, like, okay, this is just like, there's no emotion. There was emotion beforehand, but then when the physical touch came, it's like.
But she didn't even touch me. That's what got
my mind blown.
Yeah. all I got was a hug, bro. That's it. When
that's
I
crazy.
hugged her, the moment we met each other in Enterprise rental car at the Columbus fucking International Airport. I didn't touch her
Yeah, that,
again after
yeah,
that.
that's
I
the
don't know. Like I said, she could have went back to Columbus and took the money I gave her because she got a round trip ticket.
right.
But her flight wasn't scheduled to leave. She got here on a Friday. She wasn't supposed to go back home until Monday
Right. Yeah,
because
that's
they had a
crazy.
holiday weekend for whatever holiday this was back then. Like I said, I can't remember if it was Memorial Day, Labor Day, Veterans Day. It was something like that. But she had a long weekend from work, so her flight wasn't scheduled to go back until Monday. So what she
Yeah.
did for those 3 fucking days, bro, I have no idea.
And it doesn't even matter. You know what I'm saying?
No.
You proved your point.
Oh,
You
bro.
got the check mark for that.
Yeah. You got
So
the wrong white boy. I ain't the one for that shit. Like, you may think I'm fucking desperate, bro. You know, like I may be down and out right now. I ain't got a fucking car.
that's
And
right.
she knew all that. She knew
Right.
about my fucking past. She knew I had been to prison. She knew fucking all that shit and still chose to fucking fly here and stay with me.
Yeah.
And then fucking to act like that, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I kicked that bitch out. I never heard from her again. But holy fuck.
Yeah. You did the right thing, big dog. You did the right thing. So you had mentioned you told her you had been to prison. Did you want to tell us a couple of stories about what you went to prison for or how
Well,
you were? Since that was like a minute of some of the shit that you go through.
oh,
What
bro,
else
my
can you
life
please
has
share with
been,
my views?
yeah, absolutely, man.
Come on,
I'll
hook
tell
us
you
up.
what. Now that we started this thing off with a bang with the illustrious Mexican
Or
girlfriend story.
a non-bang, because that wasn't no
Yeah,
banging going
you're
on.
right. I
Right.
didn't get any kind of bang. There was no La Cucaracha going on
And
that
that
day.
mean
I
it.
can tell you that right now.
All right. So yeah, you were gonna tell me about what you got busted for, or what?
Yeah, and just to reiterate, just to let everybody, let your audience know, since I
Yeah.
know a lot of them are from Maddie's channel, but guys, my name's Jax. I'm from Ohio. I am a former felon. I went to prison in 2006. Well, actually, it was towards the end of 2005. Got out in 2007. So, and we're going to get into some of that stuff, but I appreciate you guys letting me be here. So, yeah, basically, man, I'm a former felon. As of last year, as of April of last year, 2022, I actually got my felony expunged. So I got it taken off
You
my
had mentioned
record.
that.
Yeah, so I'm no longer a felon. All those records are now sealed, and I only had one felony on my record anyway, which is
Oh,
I got a felony 5, which is what I ultimately pled out to. But yeah, let me figure out the best way to get into this. So, what ultimately ended up putting me in prison, to kind of condense it a little bit, is right out of high school, I got diagnosed with cancer. And, this is at a time, this is like 2000, 2001. So
right.
I had graduated high school in 1999. I'm 42 years old. So just to, reiterate that. But I graduated high school and kind of took a year off, whatever. And then I decided that I wanted to go to college. So I enrolled at a place called Hocking, which is like a technical type school. It's in Nelsonville, Ohio, which is close to where Athens is. And Athens, Ohio is where OU University is, Ohio University. Not OSU, but OU. Okay.
Right.
And so decided I want to go to college. And I'd been there about a semester and ended up finding out that I had cancer. And so I didn't even know that I was sick. So I basically went to my family doctor for something completely unrelated, and I had this mole on the inside of my right leg. And
Like on the thigh or on the
no,
calf?
on the inside of my right leg, like on the inside from the knee down.
Oh, okay, okay.
And yeah, so it had been there my whole life. And the doctor saw it this day that I was at this appointment, and he said, I don't like the look of that. He's like, I want to cut that off. And I'm like, all right, sure. So he numbs my leg, cuts it off. And of course, they won't tell you anything until they do a biopsy on it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
How big was it?
So the mole itself, like I said, had been there my whole life, and it was about as
Right.
big around as this cigarette filter right here. So it's
Oh,
about
okay.
that
I
big
haven't looked
around.
at, but it was like one of those external moles where it's sticking out, or
Yes, it was sticking out. It was brown, but like I said, it had been there my whole life. So he cuts it off, and I could see the look on this motherfucker's face when he cut it off. And when he pulled the mole off my leg, when he pulled it out, it had all these tentacles and shit growing from the underneath of it.
right,
Okay. And so about a week later, I remember I was in the car with my mother, and this is back when we had car phones with a fucking cord on it. You know, if for all you kids out there, if you know, used to have phones in our cars that had cords on them. So I remember I was in the car with my mom, and the phone rang, and it was my doctor's office, and he was like, you know, we've taken care of everything on our end. You need to get to Columbus, to OSU James Center, which is the cancer hospital in Columbus. He's like, you have cancer. It's spreading at an aggressive rate. He's like, you need to get up there and get into surgery. And so I was in surgery later that day. And basically, what had happened was this mole had the growth rate had accelerated 20 years in the course of 3 months. And I didn't even know that I was sick. And
right.
it had spread to all the lymph nodes in my groin and everything else. So I had to have all the lymph nodes in my right leg removed. You know, it fucking terrible. I had to do 2 rounds of fucking chemo. It was terrible, man. You know, and I was only 20 years old. I tell you that story because, again, I at this point was a good kid, never been in trouble, never, you know, whatever. But because of the cancer, they started giving me fucking pain pills by the handful. And back then, back in 2001, you know, there was no such thing as a pill, you know, epidemic or anything like that. You could go to any emergency room and get fucking 20 Percocets just as
Right.
easy as falling off the curb. So, you know, I started, you know, not only did I think I was going to die because I had just found out I, you know, had cancer, which is something that'll fuck with you mentally as a 20, you know, year old kid.
Right.
But now they're giving me handfuls of Percocet, Oxycontin, Valium, you know,
What year is this? They're handing that out?
2001. So I was 21 years old, or I was going to be 21. My
Right.
birthday is in December, so you know I would have been on my way to 21 years old then.
Right.
But so that started this whole spiral into fucking addiction. And that's what started everything kind of going sideways in my fucking life was, you know, being prescribed these fucking pain pills. So fast forward through kind of all of that, you know, pain pills graduated into me selling some of those. And then ultimately, you know, kind of getting on cocaine. And then that turned into me selling fucking coke. And then ultimately, that's what I got caught with, which is what sent me to prison. So I actually got caught 2 separate times. The first time I got caught, I had about a half ounce of blow on me. Luckily, the only thing that saved my ass is it was in one bag. So it wasn't
It wasn't
intent.
a distribution charge,
Yeah, it
right?
wasn't intent to sell. Yes, I just went up to my dudes to re-up, and I actually didn't even need to go re-up that night. I still had dope on me. But I thought it was a good idea to go up there at 3 o'clock in the morning after being awake for 2 days and fucking go and get more blow. So I
Right.
did, and ultimately got pulled over and got caught with it. And then the second time I got caught, I actually got snitched on, and which I found out later on. But I given this guy basically a quarter ounce, and that left about 8 grams or so in the bag that I'd taken the quarter ounce out of to give to this guy. So when I got caught the second time again, luckily it was all in one bag. I didn't have it split up, you know, whatever.
Right.
So they basically ran those charges concurrent together, and you know, I ultimately got a felony 5. I
Mm.
was actually supposed to not go to prison at all. So I
Well,
had never been.
how did you get out of that?
Well, I was not. I'd never been in trouble, right?
Right.
Never been caught for any kind of felonies before this. Okay, so they were actually because I had an addiction problem and all this kind of stuff. They were actually going to give me what was called treatment in lieu of conviction. So that means I was supposed to go
That
to a
is that
half.
an Ohio? Is that kind of an Ohio law?
I don't know for sure if that's an Ohio only thing or not, but basically what it consisted of is I was supposed to go to a halfway house. I was supposed to do probation. I was supposed to do urine screens, you know, counseling, all this kind of shit, keep myself clean, do what I was supposed to do. And ultimately, after a certain amount of time, they would have taken the felony away. I would have got treatment in lieu of conviction, and I would have been not a felon, anything. Well, of course, I couldn't do that. Why? That's too easy. Why would I do that? So So, they give me this initial charge, and of course I'm fucking up. I'm pissing dirty all the time. I'm getting violated by my fucking probation officer all the time.
Right.
I got sent to a halfway house in Lancaster, Ohio, a place it's called Community Transition Center. And I got thrown out of there for getting caught with a cell phone. So,
which is not a problem.
Yeah. So, dude, just one thing after another. So finally, I realized I can't do probation. I couldn't get myself cleaned up. So I went to my probation officer and basically had a conversation with him and said, how much time do I have on the shelf? And I had 13 months over my head is what I had. And I told him basically, just give me what I've got and let me go and do it and get it over with. I want to put this behind me. At this point, I was below rock bottom. I was so strung out and so bad off on coke, on everything. And so
you were just doing the drugs. You weren't selling them or anything.
Oh no, I that's what I'm saying. I was selling fucking dope. I sold a lot of dope, bro. I just luckily only got caught with the couple.
Yes.
Yeah. With what I got caught with.
Right. When on a re-up or something.
Yes. And just, I was moving much more than that. Yeah. I was supplying this whole fucking county where I live was running off my cocaine for quite a few years.
So when you got hit, that was a problem. It became a drought, huh?
Yeah, bro. Back then, I got an ounce of fucking we called it raw, so it wasn't cut. I got an ounce of blow for $1,000, and I sold it for $100 a gram. There's 28 grams in an ounce, so do the math. I made money either way. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I was doing about 6 to 7 grams a day. And I weighed about 105 pounds. I looked like fucking walking death. I've OD'd twice. I shouldn't be here, bro, by all counts. You know what I'm saying? I should not be here. But again, I went to the probation officer, told him, I can't do this. Can I just go do my time? I want to put this behind me. And he agreed. And he also agreed that once I did all my time and I got out, I wouldn't have any post-release control or anything like that. And once I got out, I was just done. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I went away and, I spent the next fucking 13 months. I first went to a place in Franklin County, Ohio, which is the Correctional Receiving Center. It's a place called CRC.
Right.
And I was in there. I was in the medical dorm there because I'm batshit crazy and was on a bunch of psych meds and fucking everything else. And so I was in the medical dorm there. And while I was in CRC, I was actually locked up with a celebrity for Ohio, actually, a football player by the name of Maurice Clarett. I don't know if you've ever heard of him or not. He played for Ohio State. He was kind of a big deal. He was running back. He was a bad motherfucker. Number 13.
That name does kind of sound familiar.
Yeah,
did he go in one of the top rounds in the draft?
He did get drafted. He played. I think he got
Kansas City.
No, I want to say the Bills or Buffalo, maybe, or maybe Denver. I can't. I'm not 100% for sure. But he also did a big interview on the YouTube channel DJ Vlad. You remember? You know who DJ Vlad is, don't you?
Yes.
Okay. So
he had a good little station.
Yeah, so if you type in Maurice Clarett, DJ Vlad, or Vlad TV, whatever he calls it, yeah, he's on there, okay?
Okay.
So I was locked up with him in the receiving center, and then once I got classed, I got sent out to my parent institution, which is a place called Southeastern Correctional Institution, SCI.
SCI?
Okay? Yeah,
right.
And that's in Lancaster, Ohio. So it's this place, it's this giant prison up on top of this mountaintop, more or less. Is kind of, So anyway, man, got sent to prison there, and I basically did all my time in a place, called I-Dorm. I did the net, and I eventually got released in March of 2007, March 11th. I was inmate 536-568. So
Right.
yeah, that's a number none of us will forget. You know what I'm saying?
No problem. So I
Yeah.
mean, you didn't get that bad of a sentence. So I mean, that's
No,
not.
I was very lucky. Yeah, like I said, when I got caught in Columbus the first time with the dope, I got put in jail. I was in jail there for a
Did you,
week, and
when you got caught, you put any work in on them? You got to turn in some of the motherfuckers that turned you in?
no, now they tried. Now, like I said, now they're I have worn a wire on somebody before, but I wasn't fucking stupid.
Oh,
I wasn't
understood.
going like the shit the guy that I wore a wire on came from a place that I worked at, which was a telemarketing place, and that was more some misdemeanor type shit. Okay,
Really? They had you wear a wire on some misdemeanor charges?
well,
Like, we're
there's a
gonna
whole
catch this motherfucker in a traffic infraction. We got
no,
this.
there's a whole story behind that. But when I got caught with all that dope, of course, the Columbus PD, they saw all that in one bag, 14 grams, whatever, and they tried. But I knew who my dealer was, and I knew what he was capable of, and like I wasn't trying to get killed, bro.
Oh, amen.
No, I
Amen.
told them motherfuckers, I said, you all can get fucked. I said, you fucking put me in jail. I said, I'm not telling you shit.
I'll take jail I'll take in instead of under that motherfucker.
Absolutely, bro.
Any
Absolutely.
day. Amen.
But
Hey,
but I got caught here locally. I used to work at a telemarketing place here, a place called Millennium Teleservices. It's no longer in business. Okay. I think honestly it was ran by the fucking mob, to be honest with you. They had some sketchy motherfuckers in suits come down and like kind of supervise us once in a while, and they looked like they were on some shit. You know what I mean?
really? So
Yeah, this place
on the surface, what is it that they were doing?
so this place, Millennium Teleservices, basically what they did is it was a telemarketing place that took donations for the Ohio Troopers Coalition. So these
y'all call
assholes
nationally or just in Ohio?
Oh yeah, nationally. So I was one of those assholes that would blow up your phone and get you on the phone and try to get you to donate like a bronze pledge or a silver pledge or a gold pledge.
I remember those calls.
Yeah,
I remember those calls.
Yeah, and I was good at that fucking job, bro. I
Oh
was good.
man.
I could sell ice to a fucking Eskimo, dude. My numbers were legit. I could sell some shit. Oh, yeah.
Of course.
But while I was working there, this place was the worst place on earth that you could put a fucking drug addict. This is right after I'd gotten diagnosed with cancer, right in the beginning of me being on all these pain pills and shit like that. So I'm working there. I mean, people were like railing Percocets in the bathroom, talking on headsets. It was madness.
Right.
And as I'm working there, this place was known to be like a fucking drug place, okay? Especially for the small town that I'm in.
Right.
So the local police worked in conjunction, like task force, with another police department, and they actually put an undercover cop in this telemarketing place who I ultimately became fucking friends with, and started selling this guy weed, unbeknownst to me at the time that he was an undercover cop. I'm selling this guy weed from a dude that I was getting it from. And ultimately, I ended up getting busted. And the way for me to get out of that is the guy that I was getting all this weed from, they wanted that motherfucker. Right. So they wanted me to wear a wire on him, which I fucking agreed to do because I was 20 fucking years old, scared. All I cared about was like, don't tell my parents. You know what I mean?
Right,
when you're 20, when you're 20 years old, you still give a damn like what your fucking parents think about you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I didn't want my mom and dad to find it out that I'd been arrested and got caught with weed and all this type of shit. So I agreed to wear a wire on this fucking guy. And then, once I did that, the local police here found out that the guy that I was getting the weed from, his father-in-law was actually one of the biggest drug dealers in this county. So then the police decided they wanted me to get that motherfucker on wire too. And I didn't even know this man.
Wow.
So I had to like play both sides of the fence and like, get to be friends with the guy that I was getting weed from and buy enough from him. So he would take me out to the source, basically, which was his father-in-law. And so I could go straight to the source and buy it directly from him. So then I had to start doing that and build up a reputation with this guy in order to fucking be able to come in one night and wear a wire on him, which I ultimately did. And then, yeah, they sent the task force out, kicked this fucking guy's door in. Crazy.
Right.
So yeah, man. Yeah, I've been in some shit, bro. Yeah.
All right. So what did they want? What were they trying to find out on the wire? What did they want him to admit to?
I'll never forget, man. You know, like I said, I'd been selling, unbeknownst to me, to an undercover cop, right?
Right.
This guy's, name was Josh. Him and I are still friends to this day.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did he know this is what happened, or that's one of the things he never knew?
What do you mean?
Isn't Josh the one that you wore the wire on, or no?
No, Josh was the undercover cop.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. So I started selling weed to this undercover cop. His name was Josh. Him and I are still friends to this day.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Yes. Okay. So, and I'll never forget, I left work one night and Josh called me. And this is before I knew he was a cop. And he's like, hey, come uptown and meet me at such and such or whatever. Right.
Right.
So I go uptown to meet him and I get swarmed by fucking police. And basically, I find out then and there that this whole time I've been selling weed to Josh, who was an undercover fucking cop.
Right.
And yeah, so then they tell me right then and there, like, look, if you do this for us, we'll make sure that nothing comes of this. You won't get in trouble for selling all this weed to this undercover cop.
Easy
so
choice.
They wanted me. Yeah, dude. I mean, this guy wasn't my friend that I was getting all this weed from. He was my fucking drug dealer. I didn't give a shit about that motherfucker. I'm not going to jail for you, bro. Yeah. I was 20 years old. Fuck
that's
you.
Right. You set me up. I mean, that's right. I got life and shit to live.
I don't want to hear any of that bullshit about, oh, you're a snitch and all this kind of stuff. Fuck you, man. Look, I look out for number one, motherfucker.
Numero uno, yes.
Yeah, all these people that want to cry and say you're a snitch and all this shit, every single fucking one of them would have done the same fucking thing to save their own ass. I
always say, man, when they stack the deck like that, when they make that part of the rules of the game, how you gonna get mad at me for playing in that shit and winning?
Yeah,
screw that. That's all you're mad at because I won. My hand won. Get out of here, man.
The cops wanted me to basically get the guy I was getting all the weed from. His name was Luke. They wanted me to get Luke on wire, basically me buying fucking weed from him. So they had a recording of it. Once I got 3 drug buys on Luke, then they went, they fucking then had that. Then they wanted me, like I said, I'd been buying so much weed from this kid, Luke, like ounces of fucking weed. Right. Not small amounts, okay, like ounces of weed. Once I had bought so much from him and they found out who this guy's father-in-law was, then the local police were like, well, we want you to go get that guy on wire too. And I didn't even know that guy at this point.
Right.
So I had to basically befriend this guy, Luke, pretend like him and I were friends and fucking, all this shit. So he would introduce me to his father-in-law so I could then buy weed directly from the source. And then once I had built up a reputation with his father-in-law, I was buying pounds of weed from this guy over the course of like a month. Right. Then I got him on fucking wire, which is what they wanted. And then they went out and ultimately kicked this fucking guy's door in. And they found guns in the ceiling and all fucking kinds of shit. Yeah, it was crazy, bro. Yes.
Wow. So that was one. That reminds me of that training day. You ever in that part where the guy was in the house?
Yes.
But he had all the money under the floorboards.
Yep.
And if you come in, you don't know what the hell you're looking at. It's like, what? This guy ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
But he's really a humongous dope dealer. He's massive. Yes.
Yes. They found all kinds of shit. And
so they knew what time it was.
Yeah. And after I did what they wanted, like I said, I don't know what happened to that guy. The guy that Luke, I know, and I ended up getting arrested. His father-in-law, I don't know what ultimately happened to him after they kicked his fucking door in. Like I said, I had done my part. I didn't want to know anything about it. You know what I mean? Like, keep me out of it, dude. Like, I did what you guys wanted. My fucking slate is clean. I don't want to know anything about it. So whatever happened to him, I have no fucking idea. Right. But oh yeah, man. Like I've had a run, bro. Yeah, I mean, we could talk. I mean, we can't probably get it all into one podcast. I'm gonna have to come back and we'll fucking get it.
Absolutely, man.
You know what I mean? But bro, for the small town that I'm from, the life that I have had and the things that have happened to me are unfucking real.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I mean, you know, and not only am I a one-time cancer survivor, last year I got diagnosed with cancer
awesome,
again.
though.
I had
Really?
cancer again last year. Yes, in my neck. I actually had a tumor removed out of my neck last year, and luckily they caught it early enough to where I didn't have to do treatment again. The margins were good enough; they cut it all out. But I'll say I got a photo of it. I'll send you a photo of it. I was awake when they operated on me, and I told the nurse, I said, "Take a photo of this shit," and she did. And they've got my neck opened up about that fucking big, bro. Looks like somebody took a melon baller and just scooped a big chunk out of the side of my fucking neck.
Oh man! Hey, listen, I get a little squeamish. Am I gonna be able to look at a picture like that?
Yeah, it's not bloody or anything.
Oh, okay,
It's,
all right.
they once they opened me up, they cauterized it and all that shit.
Yes,
But like,
yeah,
so
yeah.
So it's not bloody or anything like that.
Oh,
But you
okay.
can just see the opening of what they had to take out to remove all of this fucking tumor. So I beat cancer twice, bro.
That's my man.
As I sit here smoking cigarettes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Smoking them cancer sticks.
Yeah,
I got
man.
I got a third ass whooping in me for cancer.
Yeah, and going to the tanning bed. If you can't tell, I'm super smart. Yeah, I'm super smart. Yeah. Fuck, I don't care, man. If I'm not dead by now, bro, Jesus Christ.
That's right. I mean? It ain't your time.
No,
it ain't
man.
your time.
Like I said, I've OD'd twice. Once while driving, and if it wasn't for the guy sitting next to me, I'd probably be dead just from the car wreck.
Wow.
But
what did the guy sit next to you do? Well, tell us what happened.
I had been up for about 3 days. This is before I got busted the second time for cocaine. So I'd already been busted once. And of course I didn't learn my lesson. You know, I mean, I literally started doing the same thing again after I got busted the first time, selling blow, doing blow, whatever. And I was actually in Columbus hanging out with a buddy of mine. And it was the guy that was with me. His name was Eric. He's dead now. He's actually the guy that ended up snitching me out for the second time I got caught with coke. It was because of this very guy.
Yeah.
So we were in the car. We'd been up about 3 days partying. I was fucking dehydrated, hadn't had anything to eat, just straight coke and fucking cigarettes, wilding the fuck out. And we were driving down the road and my body just shut down. My fucking heart stopped. And this guy, I'm running about 60 mile an hour when this happened. This guy, Eric, was a big dude, about 230 pounds. He was sitting in the passenger seat. I basically just went limp, and when I did, my foot went flat to the floor on the accelerator. This is what he told me. So he basically takes his fist, hits me in the chest like hammer fist style, and when he did, I came up out of it, like I came back, like he started my heart, punching me in the chest.
Wow!
And he threw the fucking car in neutral. I had an Oldsmobile Laro, and it had a column shifter, or not a column. I'm sorry. Console shift, you know, the shifter was in the console.
Right.
So he was able to throw the car in neutral and wrestle it over to the side of the road from the passenger side. He grabbed the wheel, threw the car in neutral, and was able to fucking get it over to the berm before we had a fucking wreck. And like I said, he hit me in the chest and I'd come up out of it all fucking, yeah.
And he's wrestling you for the wheel and crap.
Yeah, dude. And so, but I OD'd right there in the fucking car. And come up out of it, and literally, I mean, I had to go get Gatorade and a whole bunch of shit to try to fucking, I mean, I hadn't drank or ate anything in 3 days, just nothing but fucking cocaine and cigarettes, man. I mean, my heart stopped. And so, yeah, oh, fuck yeah, man. Like I've OD'd a few times. So like the fact that I'm still here is a fucking miracle, bro.
It's a blessing, bro. It's a blessing. Maybe it's for you to be here and start doing these podcasts and make a name, affecting other people's lives and decisions, bro.
Well, and that's what the ultimate goal of all this, you know, we can talk about all these stories and we can make them sound fun and all that shit, but the truth of the matter is, you know, the level of darkness and things that I've seen in my life. And I mean, you know, at one point I lived in my fucking car, bro. You know, like I lost everything.
I know
And
that feeling.
I've lost everything multiple times in life. And, you know, but I'm still here. And like I said, as of last year, I actually got my felony expunged. You know what I'm saying?
Wow,
So
making
like,
the comeback.
yeah, and I'm a normal citizen again, bro. I can vote. I can fucking own a firearm. I can get a passport. I can do whatever. So if my story can help even one person to show somebody that you can fucking do it, man, you can come out the other side of this shit if you are willing to work for it. If you want to dig fucking down and crawl through the river of shit that is fucking addiction and, you know, felonies and all this whatever else, prison, and I've done it all, man. And
Right.
I'm still here.
Amen.
You know what I'm
Amen.
saying? I'm
So
still here, bro.
it's a good thing, bro. It's a good
Yeah.
thing. Well, hey,
So,
listen, man, and I appreciate you taking the time out, man, to come
oh, I
on my
love you,
show.
bro. I'd do anything for you, man. We've
And you
gotten
know
to
what?
know each
The
other
next,
so well, man.
I
Yeah.
mean it. I mean, we gotta hook up another one, especially not one where we have all the drama we had on getting this one
Oh,
done because this was awesome,
man.
man.
People have no idea. Like I said, we've been trying to get this fucking podcast in the can for the last, what, 2.5 weeks? We've been
So,
trying to do this
about three
almost a
weeks,
month.
yeah,
Yeah.
3 weeks, and
Yeah.
you
I
know
mean,
all the stuff that's happened is still in place, but we still managed to come together and put this down.
absolutely. Yeah. I had
And
to
I feel
kick you
like
in the ass a little bit. Yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
able, and I'm happy because I was able to keep my word on a lot of things this weekend. And I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? You helping me with
Yeah.
that. You being understanding and getting me where I need to be. So I think this is the
Absolutely.
first step in the right direction, bros.
Well,
You're an
bro,
awesome friend, man.
no, no, listen, man, it's my pleasure. And like I said, I mean, whether it's you or it's Maddie, you know, like Matt and I have spoken, talked, and we're going to do a live stream coming up on his channel. And like, you know, I'm for all of it, man, helping you guys out, whether it's for content or whatever, you know, I mean,
We
I'm
need it.
happy to be here,
Well, I
man. I'm
need it. I
happy to
need it
be here.
definitely. Well, I
Oh, I
appreciate it,
got
bro.
you. Yeah.
I
And we can do
appreciate
the
it.
same thing on your channel, bro. What, get this one in the can, get it posted. And then if you want to do a live stream, something like that, you and I will jump on your channel,
Let's
go
do it. Let's
live.
do
And
it. We're gonna
yeah,
make it happen.
absolutely.
We're gonna make it happen. I
Absolutely.
got a lot of
Yeah.
plans, man. I need you.
Yeah.
I need you.
I'm telling you, bro. And like I said, I'm at that point in my life where I've made it through all this. I want to share my story, you know, in its entirety, not just the funny stuff that goes along with being in that world, but the dark parts of it too, because that's what's real. You
Right.
know, the nights when I really thought about killing myself because I was so low and so strung out and whatever. And I, you know, but I was strong enough to make it through it, man.
Right.
And, you know, those are the things that I want to share and talk with people about and be able to help other people out with. You know what I'm saying?
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
Well, and we'll appreciate it, man. We'll
Yeah.
appreciate it. Well, hey,
Absolutely.
people, this was Big Zax. It's got to come back. Second interview, probably the best interview I've done and probably will ever do, except for the next one I do with him. That's probably
Absolutely.
the only that'd be the only one that could top this one, man.
I got you. I
Big
got
Zax,
you.
man, we love you, dog. Thank you very
Yeah. I
much.
love you too, man.
And to all my viewers, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button. Leave Jack some comments, man. Let this
Yeah.
brother know what you think about his ability to survive and be real in all situations.
Yeah.
Please
And
leave a
show my,
comment. We're both going to hit you back. We're both going to
yeah.
hit you back.
And listen to everybody out there watching this. Show my boy Matty over at Matt's podcast. Show my boy Zach some love. Give him some thumbs up. Subscribe to his channel. I've talked to this cat for 2 weeks on the phone. He's a good dude, man. He's trying to get his fucking life together. I believe in him. I believe in what he's doing, just like I believe in Matty. Matt and Jess are two awesome people. So
Amen.
support the fucking family, guys. All right? Absolutely.
All right, Jax. Thank you, big dog, man. Thank you for listening to my channel. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and the like button and leave me a comment because I'm hitting you back.